Hi guys, here we are playing the Grand Tour game, as we are going to see how fast this car goes actually.
Good driving, form. Right, let's see where it goes on our lap board. Will it go in the top 10? Oh dear, no it doesn't. Sorry mate, that is dismal for a mid-engine car. It is.
Look, it isn't about things like lap times. I've told you before, he who is first shall be last, and the last shall be first.
Yes, but it's 15th.
It is, yeah, it is.
So?
It's the Romain Grosjean of cars, that is.
Romain who?
Grosjean.
Who's he?
He's a French racing driver, the 15th best Formula One driver in the world. In fact, you'd like him.
I already do.
Good, good. So we've sorted that out. It's time for us to move on.
There's a new off-road four-wheel drive Lamborghini. It's called the Urus, and to find out if it's any good, I took the Grand Tour to Sweden, armed with some questions. Here's my first big question. If you build a car to tackle terrain like this, can it still be a proper Lambo? Well, the Urus certainly looks like a jacked-up supercar. With its swivel-eyed styling, it appears to be every inch a Lamborghini. But is it? Turbochargers may be a little bit annoying on the road, but here they're giving with a low-down torque that I need to get up this hill. This is the first Lamborghini to use turbocharging and the first to have an automatic gearbox. And what that combination means is there's a very slight and rather un-Lamborghini-ish gap between putting your foot down and it getting going. And when it does get going, there are no screaming histrionics.
Sure, there's a bit of popping and banging from the back. But you can't hear that inside, where everything is muted and refined.
I'd see the Pope in one of these.
So, it's quiet and a bit hesitant. And it has snazzy diffs and a clever traction control system. And the biggest carbon brakes ever fitted to a road car. So it's safe as well.
However, there's no getting around the fact that I'm currently driving on snow and ice in a car that has 641 horsepower rampaging around underneath its bonnet.
Which means that actually, it's not that safe at all.
There's no manual locking differentials, no low range gearbox. All you can do is fire it up and then put the drive system into snow mode. Oh God, that looks tricky. Oh, for God's sake.
Oh, there's toilet again.
Where excitement stops and terror begins.
That is Lambo land, that is. Shit.
So, the Urus looks and feels like a Lamborghini. It's also practical. The boot is massive. And inside, there's space for 5 6-footers. It's a nice place to be as well. And all that's great. Which leaves us with one more thing to answer. Is it a good laugh?
What we've done is use a snowplow to create a racetrack on this frozen lake. And this is what we have planned.
I'm going to try and overtake this, a four-wheel drive Porsche 911 Turbo, which is being driven by the Grand Tour's racing driver, Abby Eaton.
Have you seen this crack?
I hadn't noticed that before.
Look at the state of this.
You're the heavier car, aren't you?
That's 2.4 tons, and I weigh half a ton. Are you not worried about that?
I haven't got my seatbelt on, so if it goes under, I can get out straight away.
Seriously?
Yep.
Before the duel began, I had a few practice laps on my own.
Go.
Oh damn, I'm slippery as fuck.
we go. Speed up again now. Oh my God. Get a bloody move on. That's it, keep going, keep going. Oh no, this is a disaster. Oh God. Where is my foot? Head to the floor. I love speeding. It may not be able to get as far up a ski slope as a Range Rover, but for doing this, it's better.
But would it be good enough to get past Abby in that Porsche?
There she is. There she is. The bell has sounded. The race is on.
Now we'd find out what's what on our specially designed track.
To make this car, Lambo's engineers had a good rummage in Volkswagen's parts bin. So the engine, a 4-litre V8, is from a Porsche. The rear axle and air suspension is from a Bentley Bentayga. The platform on which it sits and a lot of the dashboard is from an Audi S70. So does that mean this isn't really a Lamborghini at all? Now we go on to the really fast bit. Oops. Right fast. Hurry up! Oh, nearly made it. Right, onto the straight. Come on, you can have her! Come on!
For lap after lap, the big, heavy Urus clawed at the rear end of the 911 Turbo.
Oh, God! Nearly! No!
But eventually, I had to admit defeat.
I can't get past that 911, and that's just an end of it. But I can keep up. And in an off-road car, that is fairly astonishing. It really is.
Certainly, I can believe Lamborghini's claim that this is the fastest off-road car in the world.
I got paid for that.
That was your job.
It was work. Doing that was my work. It probably won't be the fastest off-road car in the world for very long, though, because both Aston Martin and Ferrari have got big SUVs coming out this year.
Yeah, whatever. Thing is, could you really tell people that you have a Urus? Because it sounds like a minor alien out of Star Trek.
Yeah.
But it does work as a Lamborghini.
Yeah. But no.
Well, this is excellent consumer advice.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
glad that-
very clear, very clear.
The thing is, after I made that film, which was quite good fun, I came home and I thought the trouble is it could do with being a bit more Aventador-ish. It could do with being a bit more mad.
Are you saying you changed your mind?
Yes.
Oh, great. So Prime Minister Clarkson returns from the summit. I've declared war. But on the plane home, I had another think about it, and I'm not so sure now. I've changed my mind.
Exactly, that's what I've done.
Good. Well, since we're in such a sensible frame of mind, I'd like to move things on now with a brief history lesson. On April the 7th, 1968, a racing driver was killed in a Formula 2 race in Hockenheim, Germany. Sadly, the driver's death was not a surprising occurrence, because such was the danger of the sport back then. He was one of 127 racing drivers who would die at the wheel that year alone. This time, though, the death sent shockwaves through the motorsport world, because it had just lost the man who was unquestionably the greatest racing driver of his day, and who many argue is still the greatest of all time.
Jim Clark has died in an accident during a Formula 2 race in West Germany.
It was a terrible shock to everybody. It really knocked us all back. If there was anybody who was not going to have a fatal accident, it was Jim Clark, because he drove in such a way that he just didn't do the mistakes that other drivers did.
In California, a radio station broadcaster announcing the news of Clark's death asked his listeners to turn on their headlights as a mark of respect. And the freeways lit up. Such a huge global fuss would not have sat easily with Clark, because this shy, modest man, the son of a Scottish sheep farmer, was never one to trumpet his own skills.
I started as an amateur with no idea or no intention of becoming world champion, but I was curious to find out what it was like to drive a car fast, to drive on a certain circuit, to drive a certain type of car.
Having cut his teeth in sports car racing in the late 50s, Clark's speed and talent was spotted by Lotus boss Colin Chapman, who signed him for his Formula 1 team in 1960. Clark soon set the motorsport world alight, especially in this car. The Lotus 25, in which, in 1963, he won his first F1 World Championship.
Oh my God! I am sitting where Jim Clark sat!
And on that terrible note, see you tomorrow. Have a nice day, have a nice week, and peace, my players. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.